Everyone, welcome to the show. So, we have more signs that the rest of the world is completely disgusted by what they're witnessing here in the US. And yet another country to that point has now issued a US travel warning to its citizens. I've mentioned some of these before. I've been sharing with you guys the fact that numerous countries throughout the world are warning their residents that travel to the United States is very risky and they could be detained by Trump's Gestapo. So now China has joined that list. Last Wednesday, the Chinese Ministry of Culture and Tourism issued a travel advisory, and they cited, quote, deterioration of economic and trade relations, and, quote, the security situation. So there are also, as I've mentioned before, issues with Canada and Canadians not wanting to come here and canceling their plans. I've done a couple of segments on that, how they're ditching the US, and this is growing. This is not getting better. So earlier this month, the Washington Post reported that a New York tourism director named Corey Graham, he gave up on trying to promote travel to Canadian residents. So Fram and his wife used, they live in New York, by the way. So I think it's New York. So they're very close to the border. They used to regularly travel across the border and just have dinner in Canada. Well, now Fram is saying they're not exactly getting the warmest of receptions. And so they don't feel welcome by Canadians anymore. And he told the Washington Post, quote, Canadians are pushing back against American iconography and American culture. And Stacy Ritter is the head of Visit Lauderdale in South Florida. She also told the Washington Post, quote, for the nicest people on the planet who are Canadians, the language is strong. There's a lot of anger out there. So Ritter's agency is reporting there's been a 35% drop in Fort Lauderdale hotel bookings for the month of May. And Ritter told the Washington Post, quote, I'm not sure the administration thought this through, but this is an unintended consequence that may or may not have an impact. Yeah, it will have an impact. I can answer that for you. And no, they did not think it through. And there's a Canadian-based travel advisor named Mackenzie McMillan who told the news outlet that normally his company is very busy at this time of the year. Normally, they're busy booking last-minute trips for Canadians to all parts of the United States. So California, Arizona, Las Vegas, Nevada, not just Florida. This year, he says he has zero last-minute trips being booked by his agency to the U.S. And McMillan said the travel freeze started to slow off in January, but then he said, quote, since February, it's been a complete collapse. So bookings are down about 90% as compared to 2024 with his agency. And McMillan said of the trips that had already been booked, about 20 to 30% of them are canceling. So directly affecting businesses. Now, he is in Canada, but again, the other person was in New York. So this is affecting people on both sides of the border. And the Washington Post also spoke with a Canadian woman. Her name is Phyllis LeBlanc. She runs a company called PT Tours. So she runs bus tours from Canada into the US. Well, LeBlanc recently canceled 8 previously scheduled tours, including one that she's been offering for over a decade. And according to LeBlanc, the reason she did this was because Canadian customers were calling her and they were all canceling their trips. This started in late January. So LeBlanc was really worried about her hotel deposits. So she ended up saying, forget it. I don't want to get stuck holding the bag. You have to guarantee when you book a block of rooms, you have to guarantee a certain number of them. And then there's a, drop dead date where if you don't fill those, you have to foot the bill. So she feared losing all of her hotel deposits. And LeBlanc said that her customers, quote, were uncertain what was going to happen in the States. They didn't feel comfortable. With all the news going on, people are afraid. And a travel agency called Flight Center Travel Group, this is also based in Canada, they reported a 40% decrease in bookings to the US in the month of February. And they also had about 20% of their previously booked trips canceled. And they said, Canadians are just choosing to go to Mexico, they're going to the Caribbean. So this is all driving down numbers in the US. This is destroying our tourism industry and everything related to it: hotels, car rentals, Airbnb. I mean, you name it, it's affecting it. Restaurants. So anyway, there's also a company called Intrepid Travel Company. They told the Washington Post that compared to travel to other countries, Canadian bookings to the US are down by 92%. So 92% less than where the Canadians are choosing to spend their dollars. And I had mentioned before that car travel was also down. Well, it is now increased. So the amount of car travel, according to Forbes, they're saying that cross-border or border crossings from Canada into the US dropped 32% in March on a year-over-year basis. All US destinations, like I said, are taking a hit, but according to an aviation data firm, flights into Fort Lauderdale, Florida have dropped the most, 20%. And the CEO of Delta, it's a guy named Ed Bastian, he has now downgraded his 2025 forecast for their company. Previously, Bastian said that this year, 2025, was going to be the, quote, best financial year in history. He recently, though, went on CNBC and he said, quote, in the last 6 weeks, we've seen a corresponding reduction in broad consumer confidence and corporate confidence. So Bastian confirmed that his, interest has, quote, really started to slow. I mean, here's the thing. This is not just people coming into our country. A lot of protectionists and, close the US off to the rest of the world, isolationist type people. They may be okay with this, but this is literally going to affect people's jobs, US residents' jobs. This is slowing everything down. And keep in mind, with the reduction in flights, he's also referring to people who are afraid to leave the country now. People who maybe either are fearful of flying in general. I mean, we heard that come up in a recent focus group. People are concerned with all of these crashes. And then you have people who, maybe they have a green card and they're here legally in the country, and maybe they want to go visit relatives, and come back. They're now afraid they're not going to be able to come back. And you have mixed status families that, they're just sticking close to home because people are terrified. So anyway, California is also likely going to lose billions in tourism because of Trump. Visit California is a nonprofit organization that they promote tourism to the state, and they decreased their travel forecast by $6 billion. In February, there was already an 8.8% decline in international arrivals to the US. And so that's early on. That was February. So imagine what it's like now with all of these stories of people being detained and kicked out of the country and horror stories. People, literally people coming here from Canada with proper paperwork, people coming here from Germany with proper paperwork, coming to visit family or friends or just vacation. And they end up in a detention center for 2 weeks or a month. It's insanity. It is insanity. Nobody's going to want to come to this country. So Trump is costing the US billions and billions of dollars. And he will be responsible personally, individually responsible for many, many layoffs, even beyond the whole Doge debacle and small businesses going under because of the tariffs. He is going to cost people their jobs because of the way he's handling foreign affairs, the way he's treating immigrants. I mean, just the way he's terrorizing the entire world. He is truly the worst thing that has ever happened to our country. So I hope MAGA understands everything that's coming is because of Trump. Everything bad that happens in the next 3 years and 9 months, it is on Donald Trump. And then by default, it's on you for putting him in office. All right, guys, I will keep you posted. I'll let you know when I hear more. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.